So now we can get to the Q&A session quite quickly for the two previous speakers. So first, I have a question for Céline from Berli Ansari. Do enzymes used in biofuel production should have technical grade? How about food grade 1?
Yes, same question. I think this it's two same questions.
Yeah, so, two questions.
Yes, actually, yes. So for biofuel, indeed, it should be technical grade. And yeah, what you have to know is that the purity requirements are different between technical and food enzymes. And so for food, the JECFA specification for food enzyme are duly followed by our members, and it's included in our enzyme dossier. So yeah, indeed, there is difference, and for biofuel, it's tech.
Okay, thank you. And so far, I don't see other questions. So if the audience has other questions for the first speaker, please show up. And I have a question for Sabine Pal. This one has to do with risk communication, because as you said in your last part of your presentation, actually, this is a very, let's say, difficult task, and of course the people here connected even from national agencies must face this kind of process, actually, such as also the EFSA has to do. So we have also heard about several, let's say, kind of also emerging risks that are facing the food system. So if you must give some few basic, most important recommendations for communicating risks in a proper manner in order to, let's say, as much as possible, but of course you said there are several uncertainty factors in it, but as much as possible avoiding, for instance, the whole story of the GMOs and other, let's say, unlucky stories from this point of view.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, and it's not easy, but there are certainly things that can be done. I mean, my key recommendation might be to take the audience serious and really listen to their concerns. Even if you listen and you don't immediately respond, it makes a difference, because they feel that you're taking their concerns serious. And then once you've established that rapport, that relationship, you can then try to gently correct misperceptions. You know, you can enter this discussion as an expert. You can say, well, you said about this, but we've done measurements and it's not quite the same. It's in particular substances or in particular products and so on. But it really needs that relationship that, you know, people feel you're not just an expert. You're not just telling them you come from some anonymous agency. They feel you're interested in them. You're trying to make their lives better. It's not because you're trying to apply rules. We've all come across people who say, we don't want any regulation, you know, you're just making my life difficult and so on. And this is about this trusting relationship that I mentioned earlier. So really trying to communicate, you're finding a way to keep people safe. There are real impacts, and we understand what your concerns are. And this is what we're trying to do about it. And then, I mean, I have referred to the literature. There is a lot of work around risk perception, risk communication. You can use visualizations. There are different formats you can use. A lot of agencies now have very good practice in terms of consultations, where it's not just a tick box exercise, but they invite people or they go to communities with very good materials, with very good communicators, and they have this discussion. And it is really useful for both sides, because there's nothing more frustrating than implementing a new regulation or a new rule, and then people don't comply with it. And you can avoid that to some extent by having these conversations before you implement it. And like I said, there is a lot of good practice. I'm sure there are people on this in this summer school as well who work with colleagues who have this social communication background.
Yeah, Thank you very much for this quite hard question, actually. I can go back with Celine, maybe, with the very last question for you. What do you think are the next steps or future research avenues that you see in the use of enzymes, both in biofuel but also in food production?
Okay, this is a bit complicated because it's more the companies deciding that. But I think that what they want to mainly do is to provide enzyme which can answer sustainability challenges. It's really something that it's asked from them. So I would say it's probably mainly in the technical enzyme part, because as I explained, there are a lot of challenges that technical enzyme can answer in relation to pollution, water saving, and energy saving. But in terms of food, I would say maybe the alternative, the healthier product, and all alternative that can be done, like dairy alternative and stuff like that. Enzyme can play a big role there. So I think that's what they are going to develop, actually.
Okay, thank you very much. So I thank you both, Celine and Sabine, for having provided a very interesting view from the companies and from the society, from the public, tackling very interesting and very challenging issues with us, with the participants of the summer school.